Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? I'm glad to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. And before we start, please comment down below where you're listening in from. We would love to see where everyone's listening from. So, without further ado, as you can see by the title card on the screen, today we will be talking about dog tricks. We'll be addressing some of the common misconceptions and essentially why we disagree with them and why we think teaching your dog tricks is beneficial not only for you, but also for your dog. So, let's start off with a short introduction. Hello, my name is Eva, and I own Chasing the Tail together with Anya. I have two border collies and have been in dog training for about 15 years or so. Anya, do you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Anya. I also currently own two border collies. One's 14 and a half, and the other one's 6. And our main focus with my younger one right now is sheep herding. Um, Eva and I, we own an academy together full of different dog training courses to help you have a better relationship with your dog and a nicer everyday life, including some of those courses are our trick courses. This is why we're so passionate to talk about it today as well.
Well, partly, which brings us on to the next slide, which is how we actually got into trick training to start off with. Um, Anya, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Of course. So I will play a video for you in the background. It's from Vicky's and Kelly's younger years. The how I got into dog training is I got my border collie and I started teaching her dog tricks. So 15 years ago, YouTube was full of dog trainers teaching their dogs tricks, and everybody was uploading those cute trick videos on YouTube. And well, back then we taught them for the sake of teaching them because they were cute, but we weren't aware how the process of getting there, so the process of teaching tricks was so valuable for the relationship we have with your dogs and how much they love working with us. um, so this is something that we will speak about today, but it's interesting to think that this is how we got into dog training, and this is how we learned so much in the beginning.
So this is a real coming back to the roots moment for us. So for today's outline, as I mentioned before, we will start off by addressing some of the common misconceptions about teaching tricks and then transition into talking about why they're beneficial for you and your dog. And right at the end of our presentation, we will also have a questions and answers session. So if throughout the presentation you have something that you're interested in or something that you agree or disagree with, please comment down below and we will address your thoughts, concerns, and questions at the end. So, moving
Start
on.
up. We would like to know what comes to mind with dog tricks. When you hear of dog tricks, what is the first thing that you think about? Is it something positive? Is it something negative? Is there a story you'd like to share with us? Share it in the comments. So, like Eva said, we will start out by some common misconceptions. On the journey of teaching dog tricks, and our general dog training journey, actually, we've heard a lot of opinions on dog tricks, in sense of tricks are just for fun. Why would you be teaching tricks? They're not practical in real life situations. There are much more important things such as recall and loose leash walking to teach your dog than tricks. And we've always been quite surprised because for us, the whole journey of teaching dog tricks was very valuable and it brought a lot of positive things for us and our dogs and relationship we have with them. So to address that, we'd first like to tell you what we think dog trick training is. And for us, training fun behaviors taught with positive reinforcement. So be it a sit down or lie down or give me a paw or do a handstand or anything like that, it's all part of training. Even though the end result is something fancy and looks cute, the process to getting there is actually just training with positive reinforcement.
And it's actually what we believe is the most valuable in this entire um, training tricks
Yeah.
conundrum.
So now, to expand on that, tricks are about the journey, not about the destination. So like I said, when we were younger, we were teaching tricks for the sake of teaching tricks because they were cute. But now we realize it's much more than just that. Like the value of tricks is hidden in the journey, in the process, and not in the end results. In the end results are just cute tricks. So, trick training, in short, is about building trust, it's about building communication and a strong bond with your dog. And simultaneously, it's about teaching your dog to learn throughout this process, which is also a skill that can pay off in other areas of life and teaching other behaviors as well. Um, would you like to add anything, or can I go?
We can move on. So this brings us on to our point of this presentation, which is what does the process of teaching your dog tricks bring to your dog? Here are 6 different reasons that we will approach in this, that we will look at in this presentation, which are: the process of teaching tricks benefits your dog by strengthening the bond and communication that you share, by offering them enrichment, improving their physical skills and coordination, enhancing their problem-solving skills, improving focus, and building confidence. So we will start off with building confidence. So how does teaching your dog tricks build confidence? In short, because it's fun. Keeping the training process fun for your dog allows them to overcome challenges because the process itself is enjoyable for them. And the training process is built so that every single step is fun, enjoyable for both you and your dog. So in this way, it can help them gain confidence in many different aspects of life. So if we go on to the next step, here are just a couple of them that we've listed, and some of which we will delve into in further detail as we move on through this presentation. But in short, they can help your dog gain confidence in their body. And they can help your dog experience their body in new situations, such as the footstall picture that you see Vicky in the middle. It can help them learn how to move, learn about different parts of their body, and so on. It can also help them interact with different objects. So some dogs don't like certain objects moving, or they don't like the noise that they make, or they don't like touching different surfaces. So with tricks, you can also address that. It also can help build confidence when facing new challenges. So with new unknown situations or when solving problems, and as well as help build resilience. And that brings me on to the final point, which is also in the learning process. It can help many dogs overcome frustration, help them stay in the game, and help them become better at problem solving. So now if we move on. So why does this work? Particularly, why is training tricks so beneficial when it comes to confidence is because everything is done with positive reinforcement. Just like we defined at the beginning of this presentation, trick training is essentially training fun behaviors with positive reinforcement. So the entire thing is built on it being fun for both you and your dog, which allows your dog to have a positive experiences, even with situations that they might find more challenging or situations that might not naturally come to them. For example, jumping in your lap, jumping in your arms, on your back, foot stalls. These are all situations that can be difficult, either from the perspective of balance or height and stuff like this. So keeping it fun and keeping it enjoyable and having a history of reinforcement for the learning process is where the real benefits come in. This then brings me on to agency. Besides keeping the entire process of trick training fun, it's also much easier to face challenges because your dog is essentially in charge of how quickly you progress. Essentially, when training tricks, you allow your dog to dictate the pace at which the learning takes place. Therefore, you're able to avoid overwhelm or pressure during the process itself. You don't have any goals, specific deadlines that you're working towards, but you're doing it for the sake of teaching and learning, which is where the low pressure situation comes from, and it allows your dog to dictate how fast you're going. Additionally, another reason why facing challenges can make it that much easier for your dog is because the entire process of teaching tricks is based on small wins. So you don't take the final version of the trick itself and try to teach it in one step, but rather you break it down into much smaller and achievable steps. So I put a little quote for you here that says, "One step at a time, one comes far." And this is exactly the approach that we take with training tricks. It's you take things step by step at your dog's pace, and with that, you allow them to have fun at every step of the way and achieve big things later down the line.
So
here's an example of Tuvalu.
Here's an example of Tuvalu learning to jump on my back. If we go back to building confidence in their body, you can see that she's a bit unsure here to come on my back, and she gets off as quickly as she can. This is already a couple of minutes, if not like 30 seconds later, she's already comfortable to jump on my back. And one of the next sessions, she's already happy to jump up. It's definitely building her trust in her body. She has to keep her balance on my back because I'm also trying to keep my balance when she's on me. And now the last step is jumping on my back, and I stand up fully. So this is one of the examples of overcoming her doubts and being a bit insecure in the beginning. And by introducing this trick to her in very small steps, she felt comfortable at all times. She felt like she can win. And this is the end result. Okay.
And also that she can trust you.
Yeah, and trust in me and trust in the process.
Yeah. This brings us on to our second point, which is improving focus. Now, I did a little bit of research before we got into this topic to see what is out there in the human world of research, because there's not much on teaching dog tricks themselves, but it has been proven that frequent achievable cognitive challenges have proven to benefit working memory and attention span. And while this research exists for people, I have noticed it be true in the dog world as well. So if we go on to the next slide, I can give you some concrete examples. The first one that I have found is that frequent achievable challenges like teaching our dog tricks helps them work under distractions. This is because, as I've mentioned before, the process itself is fun and it builds a love for the game. It builds positive emotions in the training process itself, and therefore allows dogs to be able to focus better in different environments that would otherwise maybe be difficult for them. So I have a concrete example for you, which is a video of Ponyo at the age of a few months. I think he was about 6-7 months here. And you can see he's working in a very busy environment, but because he had prior experience with tricks, so specifically here, I'm doing a sit, a lie down. I did a couple of spins and I kept it all fun and engaging for him. You can see that he's able to focus on the task at hand, despite the loads of distractions, sound, sight, smells, people, dogs, in the environment itself. And the second thing, which I have also found that frequent challenges help improve, is the attention span. It helps dogs have a sustained focus for a longer amount of time. So Anya, you can help describe to people what's happening in this video here.
Yeah, this is Tuvalu putting her toys in the basket. So this is basically a single behavior, but then chained together for her to bring me multiple toys into the basket. So for this, she needs a prolonged attention span. If I throw like 10 to 15 toys around, then she needs about 4 to 5 minutes to put them all into the basket. So for her, this the whole trick training process has definitely um, uh, made her attention span longer. But I think for dogs, this is not that incredible. So I actually want to go back to our other examples, and it's dogs in TV commercials. I personally have a limited experience with dogs in commercials, but I do have a much stronger experience with cats recently, with my younger cat, who's currently a year and a half, and she's been into commercials in the past couple of months. So if you can imagine how set looks like, film set, commercial sets for animals, it means long hours of work and a lot of repetitions. So I started teaching my young cat some tricks, and for anybody ever working with cats, you can definitely know that cats are a bit more difficult to motivate than dogs. But with her, I've definitely learned by regular practice of different behaviors, such as tricks, definitely raise her attention span. And what looked like 5 seconds of attention span in the beginning turned up to 10 minutes of attention span in the end. And not only that, she was able to transfer those behaviors into different environments, busy environments, and later on set. Not in the entirely perfect way, because at home she was definitely much more confident and much more there and much more focused. But I could really learn from her how exposure to dog tricks and training every day, at least 1 to 2 times a day, very short sessions, raised her attention span incredibly throughout weeks and months. Mm, okay. And the third reason why we believe that tricks are very important is one of the most important things, obviously, one of the most rewarding things, strengthening the bond and communication. So, simply the joy of teaching them, no deadlines, no rules, no pressure, no expectations. You're purely teaching them for fun, which makes it so much easier to take time to go with your dog's flow, to to break down the process and create a positive learning environment. All of this it means that your dog has opportunity to learn about you, to for you both of you to work as a team and to really enjoy the process. And like I said in the beginning already, this process is a ton more rewarding than the end result. And it's all about the quality time. So about the quality time with your dog, and strengthening your ability to work as a team and improve your communication and strengthen your bond.
I'd also like to add something to that I just remembered right now. And I think it's the reason it's not just that it's fun because of what you're teaching, but it's because the way that the training is structured. So it always allows you to have patience for your dog and to really give them small and achievable challenges. So you don't get to this kind of conflict of how you would otherwise if you were training for, I don't know, a competition or something where there's this pressure that you need to perform and that your dog has to perform, but you're just doing it to enjoy your time with your dog. So it allows you to have a lot more patience with them and to be their helping hand and guide every step of the way.
Yeah. I prepared here a little video of some of the process of teaching tricks. Here's Tuvalu in the first steps of learning sit pretty, putting her feet up. Here's Nika and Naru. They're a big part of our academy, and especially now our latest trick courses, learning a foot stall. So that's a beginning of teaching a foot stall. This is Monica and Yumbi. I think one of the most difficult tricks for me, that requires a lot of trust from your dog. And it's a limp lift. So lifting your dog when they are completely limp. That's a difficult one. And another cool trick is discrimination between names of different dog toys, also by Monica and Yumbi. And Ponya learning to put 4 feet on the object. You can see that all the dogs are enjoying the process. Now we are at the half of our reasons that we've collected why we teach dog tricks. So we'll take this opportunity to present you our trick courses that we currently have. We have 4 trick courses. The Trickster's Toolbox is this essential big course with all the information for you to start your dog trick journey. It includes 21 tricks. Then enriching walks tricks or tricks for enriching walks is to spice up your walks in everyday life. There's also 19 fun and engaging dog tricks for you and your dog. Our third course, mastering performance tricks. I think this is our students' favorite. It includes a lot of really cool tricks. Some are more difficult ones, but nothing is difficult when you have such a good broken down process for your dog to be successful at every step of the way. I think this course includes 26 tricks. So I think this is our biggest course with the most tricks. And our latest course, Tricks for Agility Dogs, where we focus on building teamwork, building good discrimination. Excuse me. Eva, take it away.
Building coordination, and all of these tricks are tailored to help you and your dog on their agility journey. So if you liked what we've given you so far and the benefits that we've listed of actual trick training, here we also have the actual tutorials for training the tricks themselves as well. So if you're sat here and you don't know exactly how you would structure the training itself, we've got your back and we have that for you. So if we go on to the next slide, you can sign up for that by taking a picture of the code here itself. So we're excited to see you, and hopefully you will join our trick courses soon.
Would like to add that for Black Friday, we have a lot of different freebies and tutorials and PDFs and worksheets that we've prepared. And they are all part of this experience. If you sign up for our emails, you will get them all, not just from us, but also from our other instructors at Dogs to Motion Academy, like Jana and Beata. So we've prepared a lot of cool things and a lot of cool discounts. So you are very welcome to join.
So our next point, physical exercise and coordination. So not only are tricks great for the bond and for raising confidence, but also they're good for getting your dog get to know their body. Tricks can be tailored specifically for raising your dog's body awareness and coordination. So this can be working with different paws, moving in different ways, and these tricks are tailored towards your dog getting accustomed to their body and how to move their body in ways that they would otherwise not in everyday life, such as walking backwards, pivoting with their hind feet stationary, pivoting with their front feet stationary. And this can be very helpful for, as we've just mentioned, sports like agility. It's also one of the main points in our agility courses, and it helps your dog gain confidence with how they move their body and how they overcome certain obstacles also.
Right. I especially love tricks for puppies for that reason as well, because puppies can be so clumsy and they don't know where their legs are and they don't know how to place them. And I think it encourages a lot of proprioception and knowing where their feet are with tricks. So again, a little video just to imagine. This is Q working on backing up. Ponyo on pivoting. So pivoting is having your front feet static on the object and then circling around with your back feet. My senior Vicky placing her rear feet on the target and Ponyo circling on a small object. Tuvalu lifting her side feet up. Yeah, so you can see a lot of interesting behaviors and a lot of they have to be very aware of where their feet are placed to be able to execute those behaviors.
Now, here we have another parallel between the human world and the dog world, which is that tricks and fun exercises can help increase problem solving skills and maintain neuroplasticity throughout life. So, research has shown that our brains remain flexible and can learn new things throughout our entire life, even at an older age. And this can be done with simple cognitive challenges. And this has been proven with people, but I have also seen it take place with older dogs. So maybe, Anya, would you like to give us some examples of how teaching your dog tricks, even at an older age, can help them maintain a youthful energy about them?
Of course. So Vicky is 14 and a half this year, right now. And she is still enjoying tricks. I feel like sometimes doing tricks brings her back into her younger years. And she then, when you work on tricks with her, it feels like she's again back to a puppy or back to a teenager. So because through tricks that she was doing in her younger years, she adopted those emotions when she was doing them, and those emotions, the positive ones, they come up every time she is doing tricks. Now, I feel like for specifically for older dogs, I feel like most of all, it gives them purpose. For her, for sure, it gives her purpose. It gives her the trick training gives her a feeling that she's still the smartest dog in the world. She still has it keeps her mind sharp. It gives her um, yeah, I would say some kind of purpose for her. So not only for her mental health is still good for her, but it's also good for her physical health, because a lot of tricks, like you've seen in the previous videos, it's still the dog still has to use their body. It's good for proprioception and all of that. I think it's really important for all dogs. So not only keeping them young mentally, but also keeping them young physically. So I would recommend everybody owning a senior to still keep them young by doing tricks.
And I can definitely relate to this because also my older dog, Kelly, as soon as I bring out the clicker, it's like she's a year old again. And she does it with the same amount of passion as she did 12, 13 years back. But besides that, oh, you can play the video.
Okay.
This is Vicky doing tricks. How old is she here?
I think that was spring. So when we were filming one of our, I think this is for performance course. That might be also Trickster's Toolbox. So I used her a lot because she loves to work. So she filmed a lot of our videos in the academy. Here's her putting little balls together. You can see that she's still as sharp and enjoys the process. And that's in the end the most important for me.
So she was about what, 13 and a half, 14 here?
I think 14 here, yeah, because that was spring this year.
Right.
Okay. Anything to add here, or can I continue with the presentation?
Yeah, well, there's the second point. You can go on to the next slide,
Yeah.
which is also that training tricks builds problem solving skills. So even though that the process itself is broken down into many different steps, not every single step is straightforward and easy for our dogs. So we do challenge them a little with every step in time. And I think the real benefit in that is that it builds problem solving skills in our dogs and gives them a sort of creativity when it comes to facing different challenges. A concrete example here is Ponya. When we first started teaching tricks with different tricks like putting your four feet inside a box, he tended to get quite frustrated sometimes. So what he would do is he would get like a little bit antsy. He would be a little bit like sporadic, a bit all over the place because it was difficult for him and it didn't come naturally to put his feet into a smaller box. So he never quit, but you could see that it was difficult for him. And the more that we've practiced with him doing different tricks with his paws, which was the challenge he was specifically facing, but for some other dogs, it could be shaping, it could be something else. The better he got at it and the more resilient he actually got. So he has a lot more now, 2 years down the line, he has a lot more trust in the process itself and in himself as well. So he's the way I view it, he's feeling a lot more capable of meeting the challenges that I set out for him. So he's a lot less frantic and a lot more calm, focused, and precise in his movements as well. Here's a video of him doing the back foot stationary pivot. So this is when I wanted him to have his feet his back feet stationary and move his front end around. So this trick is particularly difficult because your dog has to have very good rear foot awareness as well as be able to turn away from you and face you with their back. It's a bit glitching out, but you can see in the end, he's able to turn all the way around the platform, turn his back towards me and come back around. So this is a challenge that would be very difficult for him at the start of his journey when he was younger. But with having so much practice, he built a lot more resilience and problem-solving skills, which makes all of this possible. And also translates to other sports such as agility and running contacts. It helps him stay in the game and be confident with himself and as well in different aspects such as herding and so on.
I feel like it's interesting to see how when we're describing all these reasons, you can see that they are all kind of connected to each other. None of those reasons is like completely isolated. They're all, when you're starting to describe one reason, it kind of leaks into the other. So it's all like completely connected. And that was definitely points for Ponya, because this was a very difficult trick. And we had a lot of brainstorming sessions also in regards to this to help him understand what we wanted. I think it was a really cool journey to witness and a very difficult trick that he mastered. And our last point, right?
Last but not least.
Last but not least, enrichment. And like teaching tricks provides both mental and physical stimulation. It challenges your dog. It brings something exciting into everyday life with your dog. You are teaching tricks in a positive environment. You have no pressure to teach them the timeline that you teach them. So it really creates a really positive experience for your dog and boosts their confidence and sense of accomplishment. Now, we often say that you just have to be teaching tricks because they're so perfect for any rainy day, or to just when you just had a simple walk in the morning and you just want to give your dog something more than that, and you have just a ton of tricks that you can choose from and just have those 15 minutes of quality time with your dog. I think it's so valuable and so enriching. And also not just for your dog, also for you. I think I just enjoy teaching tricks because it's enrichment for me as well. And not just that, I think tricks are perfect no matter the age of your dog. They're perfect for puppies when you're starting out, perfect for your adult dog and for seniors as well. I've taught every puppy that I've got tricks, and now that Vicky is a senior, she's still enjoying it as much as she's always enjoyed it. So I think this is the quality time that you can give to your dog, no matter the age.
And a quick point I would actually like to add to the whole puppy thing. I think sometimes we can get so caught up on all the different manners that we have to teach our dogs that it's easy to forget to have fun. And I think this is what tricks really help you do. It helps you connect with your dog and it helps you start building a bond right from the get-go. You can start teaching them tricks from the very first day onwards, and it allows you and your dog to have some fun either in the morning or in the evening when you get home. So it breaks that seriousness a little bit and allows you to just enjoy the time you're spending with your puppy.
Right, because I feel like sometimes we're so pressured to teach all the important behaviors that we forget that the most important thing when you have a puppy is purely bonding with them and doing fun things with them. And if you just focus on important behaviors that you will need when they're adult, you might miss all the fun and the connection that you can build through the fun things. Okay. Um, Besides those 6 reasons why we believe trick training is important, we also think that the benefits of trick training go beyond that. And what we've noticed is that the dog trick training improves food drive in everyday training. I believe this is through the transfer of value. When the tricks become so fun for your dog, then automatically it transfers that value of the tricks to food as well. So I've experienced this with my Vicky, who was not a puppy that really had food drive and was not a puppy that really liked to eat from the beginning from her bowl, but she really enjoyed taking treats when we were training or just playing kibble because she enjoyed the process so much. What we've also noticed is better concentration for sports, better resilience, um, confidence in everyday life, a better bond and teamwork when out and about, teaching other behaviors, and of course, trust between you and your dog.
But not only that, there's also a lot of benefits for you as a trainer. Um, the main reasons why training tricks are good is it because it teaches you how to break down every single behavior so that your dog can understand the process. Um, it also allows you to master the timing of the clicker to mark the correct moments and build an understanding of your dog and how they learn. Now, this kind of ties into the first point. Every single dog learns differently, and for you to be able to break every trick down in a way that your dog understands it, you have to also understand your dog's weak points and your dog's strong points and how they learn in order to be able to shape the training towards your dog specifically in order to ensure for success. In addition, it also improves your patience, problem solving skills, and creativity. Now, we've got a couple of tricks in our courses, but you can always take it beyond that. And I'm always super impressed when I see people come up with new and different tricks of teaching their dogs and create something completely unique. Or sometimes your dog is the creative one and they come up with something completely unique. But if you could capture that as a trainer as well, this this is what creates magic in a sense. So I think this goes both ways. And like we've mentioned at the start, we started off with trick training, but I think this gave us a very good base for how we are as dog trainers now, because it takes a certain level of understanding, patience, and adaptability from you as a trainer. And I think this is beneficial for you and in turn your dog.
Truly, truly is.
So if you liked what we gave you, we do have more, as we mentioned before. Anya, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
Would
it's
you
okay.
like to?
No, it's okay. So yeah,
Um, yeah.
still very invited to join our Black Friday experience and get all the good deals and webinars and freebies and PDFs and tutorials before everybody else. And the
If you'd
discount.
like to get in, if you'd like to get in on all the benefits we've just listed, you in fact can do that because we've got a wide range of dog trick courses for you that you can get your hands onto now, especially during Black Friday for a one-of-a-kind deal.
You can scan the code. We made it easy. And if you don't know how to, then there's also a link in the comments. Okay, so to reflect back, I think the 6 reasons that we listed are definitely not the only 6 reasons that exist. I think as you are teaching your dog tricks, the more reasons pop up why, and it just depends on who you ask. But in short, through learning tricks, your dog gains confidence, improves focus, learns to solve problems. For you, that's a great opportunity to grow as a trainer. Learning how to support your dog, how to celebrate small successes, how to set them up for success. It builds a great foundation for you to look, for your dog to look for you for guidance, enjoy working with you, be it a puppy, be it an adult, be a senior. I think it creates a great foundation that working with you is fun, that it's rewarding, that it's worth it sticking with you despite distractions, that it's great spending time with you, that you are the life of the party, and of course building a strong, happy bond that goes much beyond training sessions, and that will hopefully all this love for working with you and love for the game will also leak into your usual training sessions of teaching the life important behaviors in your life of with your dog. Anything to add, or do we go to Q&A?
Yeah, I think you summed it up nicely. I just maybe to summarize everything is just to say that not only does trick training bring benefits for your dog, but it also helps you as a trainer. And I think at the heart of all of this is that it allows you to have fun while training your dog and teach new and creative behaviors through positive reinforcement. And this is truly where the magic of all of it lies. So hopefully we'll see you in our courses and you will get to experience the true benefits of training tricks as well. But now, thank you for pasting your questions below. If anything pops up even now throughout our discussion, please feel free to comment below. And I'll pass the mic onto our future selves as we answer your questions live. Hello. Hopefully everyone can hear us. I had to unmute myself there for a second. Thank you for joining in. Now on to the exciting part of today's evening, which is answering all of your questions. Thank you everyone who's sent in questions already. For if any questions happen to show up while we're answering your questions as well right now, feel free to paste them in the comments as well. And we'll try to answer as many as we can. Probably we won't be able to get to everyone, but we're always available over on our social media channels and as well on our emails if anyone is interested. So let's move on to our first question from Stacy, and she asks, if you're new to trick training, which course would you recommend starting with? Anya, would you like to take this one or should I?
Yeah, sure. So we have a course called the Trickster's Toolbox. It's actually one of our biggest trick courses, and I think this is a great starting point for you because it covers all the basics. There's a lot of theory inside also for you to start reading through and just to get a feel of what it's all about. There are first all the essential behaviors for you as a toolkit that you can then use in all the tricks in the following lessons. And the good part about this course is also that we have set it out so you have some tricks that you teach with shaping, some that you teach with targeting, and then some that you teach with luring. So you get to know all the different methods and your dog gets familiar with all of them. So this would be my suggestion. That the course is called the Trickster's Toolbox.
Also, to add on to that, we do have a really cool introductory chapter where there are some clicker games in there for you that are super fun, that help you improve your timing, and just some basic information about how you can set up your training. Next question. Vivian asks, which is the best course for a 7-month-old flat-coated retriever and would also work for her 5-year-old mother? I think, in fact, all of them would work. But specifically, if you're just getting into trick training and you would also like the games I've mentioned and the background information as to how you can set up your training session, the Trickster's Toolbox is great. But we do also have different package deals, so you can take 3 trick courses at once and you get a better deal for the 3 of them. So in short, all of them would work. Now, Stacy also asks, Is your program based on luring or shaping? I have not been very successful when using shaping to train my pups. Like Anya mentioned, you can get all the methods in there, so not only luring and shaping, but you can also we also have tutorials. For one trick you can get both methods as well, so if you're not a big fan of shaping, there is the option of luring as well. um, yeah, not for every single trick, you don't get each option for every single trick, but for a vast number of them you have both,
Yeah, and a
right?
lot that we use in our courses is also targeting. So
Yeah. Mm,
there were also some questions on Instagram that we should not forget because they're not listed here.
okay.
How do
Thanos
you
asks, how
how
do
do
you
you
teach?
breathing out doing bubbles in water? Yeah, that was there was a video of Vicky doing blowing bubbles in the water in our presentation. So in short, first you have to teach your dog to put their nose into a bowl, an empty bowl, and then the second step would be to get them used to the water inside and still be able to put their nose in the water. This trick is in our Mastering Performance Tricks course. So if you're interested in a whole tutorial, because it's not, again, it's not a simple trick for the sake of having to put your nose into the water, that's where you can find it. So in Mastering Performance Tricks.
Next question. My pup Corey seems to become over aroused when we train and will just run through everything she knows just to get her reward. Do you have any suggestions on how to keep her at a more optimal arousal level during training? This is a great question. Um, my response to that is I made a few notes, and that is there can be a couple of different reasons why your dog offers you behaviors one after another when you train, and I wouldn't necessarily have the same solution for each one of the reasons. So the reasons that I see why dogs normally offer many different behaviors and tend to get over aroused is one, either you did a lot of shaping, so your dog knows that offering different behaviors and being creative with what they offer you gets rewarded, so they offer everything that they know and that comes to mind. um, so this could be one of the reasons. Another one is that your dog is frustrated. So this in fact happened when I first started training with my dog about 13 years ago now. She was quite a dog that tended to get over aroused easily, but also my training was probably too hard for the level that she was at. So I would make the training too difficult. And because of that, she got frustrated and then offered me what she knew. So, what was her go to? I also did a lot of shaping back then. So I think played into the other. But oftentimes I see that dogs who are frustrated, they tend to, some dogs would leave the training while others would offer you everything that comes to mind. And the third one is that your dog is simply excited. Either they're really excited by food, by the training itself. And based on the reasons that I listed, my solution would be a little bit different. I think for a dog who tends to get super excited with the presence of food, I would work on impulse control, so that your dog learns that sometimes holding back rather than um, trying to go for the food or to offer 1,001 behaviors is what gets rewarded. um, with shaping, if your dog offers you behaviors because they've done a lot of shaping, I would teach them stillness. And in fact, we do have some of these stillness exercises in the agility tricks course. When it comes to discrimination, you want your dog to sit still and really take in the command that you're telling them before offering the behavior. So, what a really important aspect of this is that you actually do reward them often for sitting, giving it a moment, and listening and really processing what you're telling them. So if you've done a lot of shaping, and if this is the reason why your dog offers you 1,001 behaviors, this would be my go-to. And if your dog offers you 1,001 different behaviors because they're frustrated, I would ask myself how I can make the training easier for them so they don't meet this frustration during your training. So either this can be with shorter sessions or with smaller steps, with easier steps. Yeah. I don't know, Anya, if there's anything else you would like to add to that.
No, I think you said it all. Great
Okay.
advice.
Then,
I will. Okay,
yeah.
do we go first through those and then through Instagram ones?
Yeah, I mean, would you like to go to the Instagram first, or do
That's
we
okay.
answer
No, it's
these?
okay. You can take it away, and then I'll collect the Instagram ones.
Okay. Bianca asks, do you teach your dog several different tricks at a time? I mean, she says, I mean, we're working on a spin, bow, and touch at the moment. Should we be focusing on one trick at a time until they have mastered it before moving on to a new trick? Um, I teach many different tricks at once, but I do make sure that if two are very similar, that I separate them into different training sessions. Um, yeah, Anya.
Yeah, or either you work on each in a separate training session, or you make a break between one and another. For example, like an active break that you can take your dog out as well in the middle, or you just place them on a mat to rest for a couple of minutes before you continue with a new trick. So you really separate them and don't get them confused. Which one's next?
Oh right, I thought you were going over to the Instagram ones now. Yeah, I think
I can go to Instagram one. There's one interesting one. So,
okay.
so I can pop it up on the screen. So I will read it. I teach people with dogs who are not food motivated. Do you have any suggestions how we could teach them tricks without using treats? I never had dogs who are not motivated by food, so I'm a bit lost. So food motivation is an interesting topic because I usually would ask if this dog is still alive if they're not food motivated. Um, so, for example, if your dog cannot take treats in training, I have three advices for you. First of all, I would find treats that your dog finds more valuable. Perhaps you've not tried different treats. The second thing I would find is a place where your dog can, in fact, take food. If this means your kitchen, your living room, then this is your go to place. So if your dog cannot take treats outside, but can take treats or kibble or any type of food inside, then this is your place to start. Go into your living room, start working on trick training in your living room. Um, and third point, um, work on tricks in small session, in short sessions, set your dog up for success, build from there. And once the whole process will hold more value, it's going to be much easier for you to transfer those behaviors, work on those tricks also in other types of environment, not only inside of your home. Because a lot of times what we mean by not food motivated is dogs that cannot take food outside, for example. But you have to know that outside, asking your dog to perform behaviors and to learn new behaviors can be very difficult because we are competing with the environment and everything that's going on in the environment. So, to make this process easier and to give your dog a chance to be able to learn, find the environment and find food that suits your dog and where they can learn and with the food that motivates them enough to be able to learn. Mm. Anything to add?
Um,
Otherwise, I'll continue with another one.
I think you made some strong points. The only thing I would add is if your dog is really struggling with eating, or just at any point during the day, I would consider whether there are some underlying things that are influencing that. So either this could be something connected to your dog's health, or something to connect it to their emotional well-being. For example, some dogs who have anxiety really struggle with eating to an unhealthy degree. And similarly, if they have some physical problem, this could also be causing their lack of appetite. So these are some things that I would consider.
Mm.
Is
Next
there
question.
anything?
What?
Yeah. So there are more on Instagram, right?
Yeah, another one. It's from
Yeah.
Alex.
Okay, go on.
It's from Alex from the UK. Is training very treat intensive? And if so, how do you stop this from negatively impacting their diet? So, yes, definitely. So, be careful about what kind of treats you choose. We recommend either choosing something more natural or actually taking their part of their meal. For example, if you feed kibble, then you can simply take part of that meal of their breakfast or of their dinner and then train with their daily meals. So, this is how then you can be careful about their diet and not overwhelm them with different treats.
Right.
I think that's it from Instagram. So
Okay. There's another two questions that we have over here. They're from Adel, that I think I accidentally skipped over in the beginning. And they ask, what in your opinion is the biggest mistake that people do in dog trick training?
not
Um
doing tricks.
yeah, not teaching tricks. Um but I think I would say the biggest mistake is not working with the dog that you have in front of you, but working with what you expect they should know. So I think the biggest mistake that we make is either taking things too fast or having expectations that are too high. So either this can be expecting that your dog is capable of concentrating for longer than they actually show you that they are, or expecting that they'll be able to move on to the next step tomorrow, whereas they're actually not. So I think with training tricks and training anything else with your dog for that matter, you should always look at the dog in front of you and see what they're trying to show you. So if it's that they cannot concentrate for longer than a certain amount of time, to adjust your training according to your dog that is in front of you. So sometimes it might not be that your dog, this also goes the other way. It could also be that your dog can do more than what you expected they would do, which means for those types of dogs, repeating the same task over and over and over again when they're ready for the next step could also be detrimental, causing some frustration and stuff like that. So for these types of dogs, then maybe taking the next step is also important. So my advice would be to listen to the dog in front of you and work with the dog that's in front of you. If they have a bad day, adjust your training according to that. If they have a really good day and they show you they're capable of more, adjust your training according to that. That would be my take. Anya?
Super well said. Yeah, I think breaking down the process is super important because sometimes when we visualize the trick and what the end result should look like, go we tend to jump over quite a couple of steps, which makes it very difficult to be successful. And this is where all the frustration comes in as well. So I think a lot of steps is important to achieve a good result. And then also the dog doesn't get frustrated and everything is much smoother. Is that it from the questions? No.
No, we have another one.
Okay.
Um, Again from adult, they ask for the beginning, an adult dog. What is the ideal time for training? Like 10 minutes or um, I think this feeds off of what I was just saying,
Yeah.
and it's to work with the dog in front of you. Um, Puppies or adult dogs, it just really depends on the dog. So one dog could be able to focus for 10 minutes at a time, another could be able to focus for 45, and another could be able to focus for only 30 seconds at a time. Um, I would rather say keep your sessions shorter than too long. And keep an eye on your dog. If they start getting frustrated, or if they start getting bored, if they start daydreaming, those are all signs that your sessions are likely too long. Keep your session. It's better to keep your sessions short and sweet, and have um, more shorter sessions rather than one session that's really long or too long. It's better to keep it short and sweet and have more of those. It's like learning a language. You won't be able to ace your test if you study the night before for 6 hours. But if you do 15 minutes for a month or two, then you'll be able to retain the information much better. And it works the same way with dogs. So keep them shorter and work with the dog in front of you. If your dog's capable of more, you can up the time that you work for. But if you feel that at some point they're not capable of concentrating as much, then reduce the time you train for, or make the challenge easier. Now let's see. There are a couple more. Yeah, I think more or less we answered.
I think that's it. Yeah, somebody also is asking if they can watch a replay because apparently live stopped in the middle. And yes, you can. There will be a replay on Facebook. And there will also, if you signed up for our email list, then you will also receive a YouTube link after we are done. So you can watch it back again.
Yeah, and I think on that note, we've been talking about an hour. Not so now we'll. Oh, Jesus Christ! We've been talking about an hour or so, so it's time that we say goodbye. But before we leave, we would like to invite everyone to just join our Black Friday list, where all of the trick courses that we have will be at a discounted price. So this is your best chance to join our courses.
And also, if you have any more questions, if you will write them down in comments afterwards, if you're watching late, we will be answering those in comments, as well as you can write us to our email. I will leave our email below. So you can also send us an email if you have any special other questions.
So with that, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you for listening in. And we can't wait to see you in our courses.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.